Are you interested in effortlessly growing your Bitcoin portfolio? I sure am. The Bitcoin credit card by Gemini earns you Bitcoin back on every purchase. Use it like any credit card. Buy lunch, gas, or your weekly groceries, and you'll earn up to 4% back instantly in Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos straight to your account. All that with no annual fee. And right now, you can grab a $200 Bitcoin welcome bonus. It's the easiest way to start building your Bitcoin stack. Go to Gemini.com/card to learn more. Terms apply. See the link in the description for more information regarding rates and fees.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Much more now on the Major League Baseball playoffs as the estimable Matt Vasgersian joins the program from MLB Network, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Matt, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
Hi, guys. I'm thinking about the very real chance that there's two sweeps in the LCS, which would make for the most pregnant pause ever between the LCS and the World Series, because MLB has said that they're not changing any dates. It's going to start when it starts, regardless of what happens here this week.
You know what? I haven't looked yet. How big would that gap be?
Better part of a week, and that's probably not, and as I say, that World Series Game 1 is on October 14th. So, yeah, if you get back-to-back wins here in Seattle, and that thing is over tomorrow, and then you get wins on Thursday and Friday in L.A., that's a week.
You mean the 24th, right?
24th is when the World
yeah.
Series would start. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Let's talk about the K-props tonight. I mentioned this in the previous segment, Matt, and that is we have teamed up with Ballpark Pal, and you can get those numbers on vsin.com with the K-props. They are hot and heavy on both guys to go over tonight. I think you're seeing it maybe a little bit differently. What do you have?
Well, first of all, Ballpark Pal is awesome, and the fact that you guys are in bed with them now is what a great resource on the app and website for subscribers. This is one of the things I'm looking at here on K's, and as much as I do like George Kirby as a strikeout guy, and he's in his 2 division series games against the Tigers, 8 and 6 strikeouts, went 5 innings in both. If you look at the last 6 playoff games played by the Toronto Blue Jays, starting with Monday against Logan Gilbert, when granted he was on a leash because he had pitched in that 15-inning nightmare a few days earlier, 3 strikeouts in 3 innings. Bryce Miller Sunday struck out 3 Blue Jays in 6 innings. Last Wednesday, Cam Schlittler, Yankees, 2 strikeouts in 6 1/3. Rodon the day before, 2 strikeouts in 2 1/3. Max Fried struck out 1 in Game 2 of that LDS. And then in the opener on last Saturday, Luis Gil struck out 2 in 2 2/3. And we know that the Blue Jays don't strike out a lot. You guys have talked about it a lot on your show. Lowest strikeout rate, highest contact rate in the sport. That's part of their secret sauce. Having said that, Kirby at 4.5 is tantalizing. His Ks per 9 jumped after the All-Star break, and he works up with his heater. He throws his 4-seamer up. That's his MO. He tries to set you up with a slider and his knuckle curve away to right-handed batters, and that's 40% of his repertoire. And there's a big chunk of it, over 30%, which is 4-seamers up to right-handers specifically. The reason I bring that up is that the umpire tonight behind the plate, younger umpire named Ben May, and he's a Milwaukee guy, so we like him already. But he does not give the outside rail at all, that up and down border of the outside corner. If you look at the heat map, and I'm looking at it now, it is bright blue on that outside spot, up and down to right-handed batters. And that matters for Kirby because he likes to use his slider and his knuckle curve away to right-handed batters. That's, again, 40% of his repertoire. So I'm really in the middle on these strikeout props. I think 4.5 is a makeable number for Kirby. I don't think I trust Bieber's number just because I don't know how long the leash is going to be on any Toronto starter from here on out. Like, their bullpen has been exposed. They're not playing the Yankees. They're playing a better offensive team in terms of contact and a hotter offensive team. I think the safer thing for somebody like Bieber would be look at the hits allowed. I think it's 3.5. If they're going to live and die with him and try to get 3 or 4 innings out of him, 4 hits is a very reasonable thing to ask of because he's made 8 starts now, Bieber, including his postseason start against the Yankees. He's given up fewer than 4 hits only once, and that was in his first start back after coming back after surgery. So strikeouts are confusing. I think Bieber gives up enough hits to maybe make that one work.
Okay,
beautiful.
4.5 at DraftKings under 170, but you can play with it and do different bets. A great job on the pre and post game one on Fox with A-Rod, Jeter, and Ortiz. A-Rod nailed it. He said there would be a letdown, and it's a trap game one, because they climbed the mountain and conquered the Yankees, and then Seattle came in with all this emotion and adrenaline, and they surprised them. Now, if you flip it, could there be a letdown here with Seattle now that they're expected to win, and they're just 2 wins away at home now from going to the World Series for the first time?
No, I don't think so. If anything's going to foul up the rest of this series, it's going to be 3 games at T-Mobile Park, a place, and you guys list park factors on the VSiN website. It's got the lowest park factors in the league, and of the 7 stadiums in Major League Baseball that have a roof, it is the lowest by far in that group, which is the sample size I think that matters the most. So more so than Marlins Park, which is a cavern. American Family Field in Milwaukee regarded as more of a pitcher's place, especially when the roof and panels are closed. The only one of those dome stadiums where the ball moves around a little bit is in Phoenix. But man, homers, RBIs, extra base hits per plate appearance, all those numbers are significantly lower. That's why you're going to get low totals the next 3 nights. And I think it makes it really hard for people that want to play things like total bases, team totals. I don't think there's going to be a letdown for the M's. I just think that the conditions are going to keep it close, and pitchers it's going to feel like pitching and defense games, even though they might not be that.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Matt Vasgersian, MLB Network, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. Last night had to be, imagine the flight for the Brewers out to L.A. Did any player even say a word to each other? That's just a back-to-back demoralizing losses here, as the offense has completely gone in the tank for them.
Yeah. God, Mitch, you got to be loving your 7-1 on the Dodgers right now. That's an incredible number that you found weeks ago. I think that game 1, when the Brewers had them in the 9th, they had a chance in the 9th, and that weird double play, like everything said, this is the game you have to steal if there's going to be any kind of hope. And now, there's a big pitching advantage to the Dodgers. They're going back home. Think about this. Shohei Ohtani has done very little to impact the postseason so far this year.
Right.
And they did not play their best baseball against the Phillies, and they beat them in 4. They've got a 2-0 lead against the Brewers, and they all but handed them game 1. The problem is Milwaukee hasn't had runners on base. They've had 1 at-bat with a runner in scoring position in 2 games. We can't win like that.
Yeah.
And by the way, you could bring back the 27 Yankees. You could bring back the Bash Brothers A's of 1989. Nobody was going to hit Snell and Yamamoto the past 2 nights. Those guys were ridiculous. And I'll say this, too. I know you guys love futures. If, the NL MVP market is still wide open, if you assume the Dodgers are going to win,
okay.
Teoscar's homered, Muncy's homered. Your eyes will go there. Ohtani's going to make a start. If he does anything with the bat, he's a candidate. But if the Brewers can steal a game and get it to a game 5, meaning Snell would pitch twice, he's going to pitch exactly like he did in Milwaukee in game 1, only better because his home numbers are sick. And that's your LCS MVP. You can't win it as a starter making only 1 start.
Yeah.
But if he gets 2 starts, I'd back him as a midfield, what was he, plus 400, I think, after the first game. Yeah, something like that.
How would you feel about a Dodgers-Mariners World Series?
Well, I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know how the country out of the Pacific time zone would feel. I'm not sure what the feeling would be in Chicago and Boston and New York. But, the Tigers-Mariners series rated extremely well, shockingly well in the minds of some. And I think part of that is the novelty of having the Seattle Mariners go deep. This is the first time in the better part of a decade where the Astros or Yankees have not been in the LCS. Having the Jays in there in the mix, I think that kind of messes up the calculus at Fox, because that's an entire domestic home market that you won't have a rating for. But, I hope people will give it a chance, because, there's a nice underdog versus favorite theme there too. I think a lot of people outside of LA would love to see the Dodgers lose in the World Series. And Seattle, having never been there, let alone won one, that's kind of a nice tune-in factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder how popular Seattle would be across the country if they didn't play in that city. Because they have a lot of, I mean, their catcher hit 60 home runs, for Christ's sake. I mean, it feels like they'd be popular playing somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's a lot there to sell, right? If Major League Baseball and if Fox, as the national rights holder, really wants to get behind it, which they will, there's a lot there to sell. And by the way, I almost think back to tonight's game with Bieber on the mound for Toronto. You know, he's a reverse splits guy for anybody looking into a total base prop. His numbers against right-handed batters are not good. 936 OPS versus a 430 OPS to lefties. So the right-handed hitters for Seattle kind of jump out at you. However, Randy Arozarena, 0 for 8 lifetime against Shane Bieber. He hasn't faced him since 2022, however, before the surgery. Julio's only 1 for 9. I wish Cal Raleigh would take a right-handed at-bat against Shane Bieber. He won't. They're going to play the traditional splits. But, man, I'd like to see more righties in the lineup for Seattle tonight.
That's very interesting. Matt, you're the best. Thanks so much. Enjoy the game tonight.
All right, guys. Good talking to you.
Thanks, buddy. Matt Vasgersian, MLB Network. Like only he can deliver some of those numbers and angles. Win-lose up next. Paulie will tell you about a 20-1 shot that cashed on a prop he's never seen before. Next.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live today, as always, downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Love Wednesdays. Love how we start this hour every single week as the great Sal Paolantonio joins the program. He's on the progressive guest line. We call it Wednesdays with Vito's son. Sal Pal, good to talk to you. How you been?
Oh, listen, you guys, everybody knows that I'm on with Mitch and Paulie. Follow the money on Wednesdays. I hear from all over the place. Oh, man, I tell you, it's amazing. Amazing. Wherever I go, everybody wants to know what I'm going to be saying on VSiN at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays on the East Coast. They love listening to it, and it's great. I love it.
It's the best. It's a highlight of our week. So we're going to get into issues with the champs, the team, the great city that you live in Philadelphia, obviously in the Eagles now, as they drop to 4-2. But let's begin with parity in the league. We ran this down in the first hour of the program. Only one team is 1-5 against the spread. Every other team is between 2-4 and 4-2 ATS. And you have to go back 15 years to find the last season in the league where the short shot on the board to win the Super Bowl was plus 650. It's been much lower than that every single year since then. Do you like this much parity in the NFL?
I do. I do like this much parity. And the parity has many fathers, right? The number one thing is you had the largest number of free agents change teams in the offseason in NFL history. So dynamic rosters, lots of changes specifically at the quarterback position. Just look at the renaissance in Indianapolis with Daniel Jones. That's a very good example of what's going on. Look at the renaissance in the coaching ranks. Mike Vrabel comes to New England, quickly rights that ship, takes Drake May, who looked like he was okay, and now they've won 3 in a row. So a lot of dynamic changes at the top, at the head coaching spot, and at the quarterback spot. And that means that you have teams that last year struggled getting right to the top and being part of the equation quickly. And on the flip side of that, you lose a Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. You lose a Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Cleveland can't figure out who their quarterback is. Aaron Rodgers is on a 1-year rental. So, you just look at that division and the upheaval across the National Football League due to the free agency, specifically at quarterback, due to injuries at quarterback and changes at head coaching position. And you can see why we're in the predicament we are. I mean, all you got to do is look at the point differential. That's a really big indicator. Pats are plus 30 in first place in their division. Bills are plus 30. Steelers are the only team in the plus column in the AFC North, and they're plus 12. Los Angeles Chargers lead the AFC West at +2. Philadelphia Eagles lead the NFC East at -1 point differential. Upheaval, one-score league, and it's pretty clear why.
Yep, excellent. So your website had an interesting article about expect a record number of trades at the deadline. With so many teams in this and with parity and think they have a chance, do you expect a lot of movement at the deadline early November?
I do, and it's good for the league. It's absolutely good for the league. It's like baseball now, where teams are moving top players. Teams are maybe, they're in a dump mode or they're in an addition mode. Are they buying or are they selling? And you got to look at certain teams in which direction they're going in, like the Jets. I mean, the Jets should be in the market really to figure out how they're getting the first pick. I'm not saying that they're tanking for the rest of the year. Absolutely not. But they have to have an eye on the fact that, hey, if they have a shot to have the first pick and fix their quarterback situation for a generation, so what do? You sell off some assets to get some draft picks so that you can maneuver around the board. They've got some pass rushers. Teams like the Eagles need a pass rusher. The Dolphins are in the same spot. They got some pass rushers. Everybody needs pass rushers. And they go to a team that's got picks, and then you can accumulate picks by giving up some of these great players. So, yeah, I think it's good for the league. Absolutely. Any kind of intrigue like this that propels the interest in the league, I think, is good.
Will you dare say a bad word about your Eagles? How concerned are you now after getting blasted at New York?
I think I'm very concerned. I am. I think I'm very concerned about the energy of the team. Zach Bond, the Pro Bowl linebacker, said it best, guys, after they lost to the Giants. They were flat coming out, and they remained flat for the rest of the game. Now, that can't happen. You have too many guys making too much money. You're on a Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
You got to find your emotional core. And they don't have any kind of emotional core. And that's what propelled them through the bad times in the last couple of years. You guys had coaches and players stepping up and finding that, button to push. I don't see that right now on this team, and that troubles me.
That sounds to me like something a team is not going to be able to fix long-term through, in one regular season anyway. This has shades of the season 2 years ago,
right,
when they started 10-1, but we felt they were a little fugazi with how they won those games, and eventually they fizzled out in the playoffs. Would you agree with that?
No, I would not. People ask me that question all of the time. Is this the 2023 Eagles? It's not. It can't be. This is the team that won a Super Bowl, not lost it. So there's a sense of, okay, in that locker room, in that building, we have the formula to fix it. We know how to fix it. We just won a Super Bowl. And two, I think the maturation of Jalen Hurts, pre-snap and post-snap, is very evident on the field. He needs to be put in a better place by Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni and Jeff Stoutland, the run game coordinator and offensive line coach. Player meetings, guys, are good. I'm all for player meetings. We should all be talking all the time about our problems in life. That's why the huddle was created. The NFL, hey, listen, the huddle was created by Amos Alonzo Stagg in the 1880s. They said, we're going to huddle up and we're going to decide what to do when we get to the line of scrimmage. It's the only sport where you huddle as part of the game. If you huddle at the mound, the umpire comes out and tries to break it up. There's no huddling in hockey or tennis or golf. I mean, you huddle up in football for a reason. It's you against the world, and it's good to have those conversations. But it's also very, very important for the coaches to get together and them to huddle up during the week. And I hope that the Eagles did that on this mini bye. And the three things that need to happen is, all right, what button are we going to push emotionally? Two, what's going to be our offensive identity? And they don't have to look very far. It's number 26. It's Saquon Barkley. Now, I know, okay, you have injuries on your offensive line. Guess what? 2 backs on the field, 2 tight ends. load up, whatever you got to do, swing him out, reverses, change the aspect of what you do offensively in the run game, design some creativity away from your weaknesses. Happens all the time.
There's a lot of people ticked off, and Lay Johnson had comments too about where's the play action. Where are you this week?
Yeah, where is the play action?
Yeah.
So I'm actually doing some Veterans Day stuff this week for our Veterans Day special. As you know, I do that every year around this time. And I've been doing a lot with Navy football this week and last week. So look for that on Veterans Day. We're doing a special piece on Navy football, and they are undefeated, and they had a great game in Temple last week. But getting back to what Lane Johnson said.
Yeah.
When the Eagles line up under center, Jalen Hurts under center, they run the ball 81% of the time. That's predictability. 81%. Come on, guys. That's crazy.
No, and that, again, right, that's on the OC? Yeah?
Yeah. But,
right.
All right, you can go to Minnesota and beat Carson Wentz. You have a revenge game against the Giants. Then you have a bye week. The big games coming up, really, whether you're going to decide whether the Eagles are going back to the NFC Championship game or not, are at Green Bay, Detroit, at Dallas, Chicago. November. Their November is going to decide their season.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Are you buying the Giants at all?
I am. I like the Giants. I do. There's certain things about Jackson Dart that you can't coach. You wouldn't try to coach.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to get in and out of bad situations. He's faster on the field than anybody anticipated. I don't think even the coaching staff. His release is quick. They got to do a better job protecting him. I do like the Giants quite a bit. But the NFC's wide open now. With Detroit losing like they did, with the LA Rams hanging on and Puka Nacua injured, with San Francisco with their injuries, the NFC, man, is wide open. And if the Cowboys could buy themselves a defense somewhere, somehow, the Cowboys could be a problem.
I don't disagree.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Not
I know
bad.
Dak's having a great year. They score a zillion points every game, but the defense has been a sieve. Sal, pal, you're the best. We look forward to this conversation every single week, and it lives up to the hype on a weekly basis. Thank you. Enjoy the week.
You guys are the best. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. I really do.
You're the best.
Very
Hall of
cool to
Famer.
hear that, yeah.
This is real. Jerry Jones made comments. We're going after it too. The 49ers are going after Hendrickson. The Bengals can say all they want, but everyone's got a price.
They do.
Hendrickson, Chubb, there's a ton of guys out there. Who gets Breece Hall? There's going to be movement.
Yep. A lot of teams should be in the mix for those players.
I know.
Up next, we'll run down the best and worst teams, ATS, NFL, college football. Find out which team has gone over in every game so far this year, doing so on average by 24 points per game.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We're live in downtown Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Love Wednesdays. Earlier, we missed, we had on Sal Paolantonio. If you missed it, you can always go back and listen to the Follow the Money podcast. Sal brings it every single week, as our next guest does as well. The maestro, Mike Palm, VP of this great property here in downtown Vegas, joins the program. How are you today?
What did Sal Pal say? What's going on in
He
Philadelphia?
said, no panic in Philadelphia. I compared it to the 2023 team, and he said, get out of here with that crap.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
They got their title, they got paid, and this is what you get.
Well, that shouldn't happen, though. I know.
Well.
It's maybe A.J. Brown's the problem, and that's they work out a trade. But this will be a big test Sunday because you got humiliated on national TV, and now
Steve
you're taking.
Makinen's got the line Vikings minus 11.5 according to the Bill 80 newsletter. Makinen's real number is Vikings minus 11.5.
Yeah, probably a typo. Meant 1.5.
No. It's the biggest difference of the week deal. It's the headline of the Bill D.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I missed that came out today in the VSiN Daily.
Yeah. In the newsletter.
I overlooked that on
Get it in the newsletter.
I read it every day. I must have overlooked that part of it. In fact, we gave a shout out to Bill for the mailbag that he put in it the other day.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay.
By the way, who's going to start for the Vikings?
Good question. It might be McCarthy now.
My sources tell me My source tells me if Wentz is able to go, it's Wentz. There's nothing wrong with McCarthy.
That I believe.
O'Connell went to Jefferson. He said, "Who do the guys want? They want Wentz."
Okay.
McCarthy's not ready. They want a chance to win with Wentz. If Wentz, he's got a bad shoulder, but if Wentz can go, it'll be Wentz. Anyhow, take that for what
You know what they should have done? They should have traded for Joe Flacco. I think the Vikings would be better with him than anything that they got going right now.
Oh, I don't know. Don't let that LaFleur defense convince you that Flacco can. He can't move at all.
Watch him tomorrow.
11-minute.
Watch him tomorrow.
Would people consider the Steelers in a survivor format?
No.
No.
Steelers lose tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
You're confident of that?
Yeah.
And they got the Bengals coming up in a few weeks at home, by the way.
Yeah.
Bengals
That too.
defense is pretty good.
Were you down on the LaFleur defense?
They
One game.
played that game so passively.
I know. They
So
sat on
passive.
that.
I hated that game.
I just hated
could
his
not
game. I can't stand the way they played that game with no urgency at all.
None. None. It killed me.
Yeah.
Like, guys, you're off the bye. You had 2 piss-poor performances before going to the bye. Now you're getting maybe the worst team in football, and this is how you're going to treat it?
Don't upgrade the Bengals off that game is all I'm saying. Is Flacco better than Brown? Well, yeah, he's not going to throw 3 interceptions every game, but it's still not viable. If he was viable, he'd still be in Cleveland.
They didn't have much to work with, though. He had
Well,
great comments, though.
Gabriel? They had to let Gabriel play?
Yeah.
When are we going to see Shador?
Good question.
The problem is you can't put the genie back in the bottle once you get Shador.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal.
Or Watson.
Here's the deal. Gabriel's going to look just fine this weekend.
Yeah.
Just fine. The entire Browns outfit is going to look just fine. They get the Dolphins. They will have, 350 yards of offense in this game. Junkins' rushing prop opened 78.5.
What is it now, Mitch?
That's the last that I looked. I wanted to bet it. I thought it was going to be, I was hoping for like 65. I'll sneak one in there.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. They're like, it's the Dolphins, Mitch. I don't think so.
Fannin might have 10 catches, too.
Will the Browns
another
be
one.
used in a survivor? You think so?
No comment.
Okay. Oh, okay. No comment.
It's a tricky week. What do you think?
It's very tricky. I would
Because-
look at the Rams.
Without Puka?
Jacksonville is awful. They really are awful.
Oh,
How
come
did Kansas City blow a 14-point lead?
The pick
today?
6 got him.
Did you watch the game? I watched the entire game against Seattle. They're awful.
Yeah, they were not good.
They're not good at all.
No. And somebody.
What did they think that Njigba's a possession receiver? I mean, they just kept letting him beat him over the top.
Yeah, he'll never beat us. He's too
no,
small.
Not that guy.
It's a fluky start to the season for JSN. Guys,
None of those Buckeye receivers are any good.
No, they're
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
And we drafted Travis Hunter. He'll take care of him, right?
Yeah. I was very disappointed in the Jacksonville performance on Sunday.
Okay, so then if you're disappointed in them, are you telling me that you're not that high in Seattle?
Well, Seattle's legit, but we had the guy come in and make all the max bets on Seattle. Everybody and on my panel, they loved Seattle. The Seattle, that game we saw between Baker and Darnold 2 weeks ago, that might be an NFC Championship game preview.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. No. Seattle can win that division. Tampa could get a 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I know. Are you scared of anyone?
I hope so.
Can't be.
You can't be scared of anyone. Look at Detroit on Sunday night.
I asked Derek yesterday, when's this business of using 21 teams going to end? I mean, because you went off on it last week. So silly, right?
So nonsense.
Is it going to continue?
Come on.
Every week, all these
this week
teams are
there's some
selected.
legitimate, but maybe, I don't know. Are people just using that many double options, and that's why we're seeing 21? There's still 4,500 people in it.
I know.
It's way too early for the double
way
option
too
stuff.
early.
Yeah.
I know. But this is a tough week, as you said, because I can't use Kansas City in Circa Survivor because they play on Thanksgiving and they play on Christmas. So then it's like, I know you don't trust the Bears. I know you're not going to say because you only
I have to hold my nose to play the Bears. I mean, I could, but the Saints are feisty.
Sure.
They're feisty. The defense is not great, but they're feisty. Let's not forget that Washington handed that game to the Bears on Monday night.
They did.
They made the last drive and they were able to get the points, but Washington gave them that game.
Well, they got a good rushing attack though, finally too. But I agreed with the silly turnovers.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of options though. If I'm
It's a very tough week. It's a really tough week.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. The Patriots are playing at the Titans. So there are a lot of pros here for the Patriots, obviously. First, Tennessee's the worst team in football. Second, it's a revenge game for Mike Vrabel and his former team. And the Patriots are playing pretty good ball. Now, how much does this being their third straight road game and the fact that New England has other games down the road that you can absolutely use them in offset the positives here?
What factor do you put in Callahan firing?
Yeah, there you go again. Yeah, that's a pro a little bit for the Titans. You get the
Is
bump.
it?
You get the bump.
I don't
maybe.
know in football if the dead coach bounced the way that you get it in, like, say, hockey, the way it could be. I mean, if Oklahoma State covered the week after they fired Gundy, right?
Mike,
I mean,
ask UCLA. Look at that.
well, that's just the whole team has changed. They went from never having the lead of any 1 second in a game to now looks like they're going to put up 50 points a game. And look at them. They're going to cause some problems down the stretch here. Do you want to play UCLA now? I don't.
Yeah, there you go. There's your bump.
They're actually fun to watch.
They are.
Where'd that come from?
But maybe UNLV can hold this in their hat now. They beat UCLA. Didn't mean anything earlier when we get into this Group of 5 discussion. Although they have a tough game this week, obviously going to Boise.
Yeah.
The Millions is also doesn't get enough attention and much love, but you're going to be hearing a lot about, especially a Private Plane Wayne is still the leader. But you got Private Plane Wayne as your leader, and then Tammy Evans, Follow the Money listener, great gal, is in the mix for the booby. So it goes back to the old question: is it easier to pick winners or losers?
Well,
if Tammy can keep this up and keep going
it's the
1
same
and 4,
thing. It's all
every
about
week.
when do you make the decision, right? There's some hosts here who should make that decision to go on the opposite side. But once you decide you're going, it's just as hard to pick a loser, isn't it? You're picking the same side.
She is. Yeah, Evans Unit. Sitting there, right there with the booby.
Tied.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
There's
Tammy
a 4-way
Evans.
tie right now.
Yeah. God, that's tough. If you can pull that off and just keep it going. But how you just take maybe some bad numbers or just go with these teams, how you can keep trying to put up a 1 and 4 or a Private Plane Wayne with the 4 and 1 every week.
He's amazing.
He is.
The pressure will get to him.
Yeah, okay.
I like the idea that Derek had a couple of weeks ago. Take 2 entries next year and do the exact opposite. Because if you get hot like Private Plane Wayne, 24-6, you go the other way in the other entry. He's then 6-24, and he's tied for the lead in the booby.
Yeah.
Or Tammy, same thing.
Yeah, with Tammy, yes.
Yeah. Or you're 16-14 and 14.
That could absolutely happen, of course, no doubt. But this is the extreme example.
Yeah.
You bet the Milwaukee Brewers 35-1 to win the National League many months ago in the summertime.
June 3rd.
Oh my
Wow.
God! Did you do anything to monetize that ticket before the series?
I did. And I put myself in a spot to get middled, but I refused to lay $2 with the Dodgers. So I laid the Dodgers minus the game and a half, minus 118. Because I figured if I lose that bet and it gets to a Game 7, if they get to a Game 7, the Brewers are not going to be a $2 dog at home in Game 7 because they will have proved they could play 6 games 3-3, and at the most parts. But I wasn't going to bet. So this is at 500 to win, to win 17-5. I wasn't going to go and bet 9,000 on the Dodgers to win 45. I just was not going to do that and give away half of it. So, I bet a little more than 4 to win 4 at minus the game and a half, which looks like the better side than the Brewers won in this.
Yeah.
What did you talk to Mike Sanderson, who had him in the blackjack tournament at a big price?
I have not.
I didn't know.
I have not. Or how about Dave Ross, who had Toronto? Dave
Forgot about that.
23-1. Dave Ross. He's on the opposite. He had Toronto on this side, and Sanderson had the Brewers on the both 23-1.
Ross in a great position, though. He was.
He
was.
was.
He
Yeah.
was.
He was.
Yeah.
Oh, man. As the official horse racing partner of VSiN, First Bet, built for bettors who demand more. First Bet isn't about just placing a bet. It's about helping bettors of all levels with handicapping tools that provide data-driven insights to help make you smarter bets. Their in-app tools give you a win, place, and show probabilities for each runner. You can quickly and easily identify good value plays and improve your ROI and take advantage of their great special, limited time, $250 sign-up offer. To claim your bonus, promo code VSiN250 when you sign up in the First Bet app or at firstbet.com. Get your money. Go get it now. Promo code VSiN250.
I wonder if the Dodgers are close to a $2 favorite against Seattle. We'll kick that around coming up as we continue with Mike Palm, including the greatest double play you've ever seen. It was actually unconscionable base running. You cannot be serious is next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
A lot of bets to get to here with VSiN host Matt Youmans. We'll go college football and the National Football League. Matt hosts Prime Time after us and also the Friday Night Football Invitational for 3 hours after this show as well, which we'll get to coming up in a second. Matt, let's begin here. And I was watching Primetime last night, and you explained to the audience that you have a bet on Louisville plus 14. It's currently 13.5 against Miami, but you said don't bet it right now because you're quite convinced it's going to come back to 14, don't you?
Yeah, anytime you have a popular public favorite like Miami, I think the Hurricanes are going to draw money on game day, and I expect that number to go back to 14. Now, it was at 14 at several books, I think on Monday night and Tuesday, and that's when I bet it. I actually told Tim Murray last week, I said 14 is going to be my buy price. If I can get that with Louisville, I'm going to be on it. So I took it. Now, Jeff Brom is a much better coach as an underdog than he is as a favorite. And this goes back years. And Brom, last time he was a favorite at home to Virginia, he lost 30-27 in overtime. Now he's off a bye. This is a 4-1 Cardinals team that really has not been all that impressive so far. But if you look inside the box score in the Virginia game, Cavaliers scored on a 61-yard fumble return and a 47-yard interception return. Louisville outgained Virginia 383 to 237. Miller Moss has not been outstanding at quarterback so far. But you got a couple playmakers on that offense that I like, and Brom typically rises up in these spots. And I still think, when a coaching matchup matters, and you have a guy like Jeff Brom against Mario Cristobal, I'm going to bet on Brom getting 2 touchdowns. I think the Cards can put a scare into the Hurricanes on Friday night. If not, upset them. I'll probably bet a little on the money line,
wow,
but a lot more on plus 14. I think this is going to be a close game. Hurricanes are not going to coast through the rest of the schedule.
Okay, what do you make of your alma mater? You've always had a good pulse on Purdue. They are catching 3 at most shops. It looks like there might be a 3.5 out there, minus 115 on the road here against Northwestern.
Yeah, actually, he took Purdue plus 9 last week at Minnesota, and Boilermakers should have won that game.
Yep.
They outgained the Gophers 456 to 262. Had almost a 200-yard advantage, but a pick six did them in again. And they folded in the fourth quarter and lost by 7. They did cover. But if you listen to Barry Odom's comments after these games, you can see why the guy's a winner. He's not into moral victories. He's not into close. Is good enough. This guy wants to break through and start winning Big Ten games, and I think he's very close to a breakthrough. And Purdue's actually improved a lot on both sides of the ball, especially defensively in the past couple weeks. It's interesting to me that Ryan Brown, their quarterback, was chased out of North Carolina after spring practice by Bill Belichick. And right now, Brown would be by far North Carolina's best quarterback. This goes back to Belichick's trouble evaluating talent in his final drafts with the Patriots and now in North Carolina. And I'm pretty much out on Belichick at this point. But that aside, I think it's a good spot to fade the Purple Cats, too. And then you talk about role reversal a lot in the handicapping. Northwestern's one of those teams that's always more dangerous as a dog. You flip the Northwestern team into a favorites role, and it's not so hot. So I like Purdue here catching 3.5, and you can find 3.5 still at several books out there.
How about this now? After the historic back-to-back losses by Penn State as more than a 20-point favorite, Franklin gone, and now catching 3 at Iowa.
Well, yeah, I looked today at FanDuel and a couple other spots. You could still lay 2.5 with the Hawkeyes, 2.5 minus 115, and that's actually what I did here. And I would still lay 3 if you have to. I like Iowa in this spot. We talked about it Monday night just briefly, but how about the Hawkeyes rolling into Madison and beating the Badgers 37-0? And this Iowa team has actually been playing a little better here the last few weeks. I've been more impressed with the offense. And I think Penn State's going to go one of two directions. The Nittany Lions team's going to quit on the season, or they're going to rally, kind of like UCLA has done in the last couple of weeks. I think this team's closer to quitting on the season. A lot of those players like James Franklin, where he's a good coach or not. I don't disagree with the firing. I think he should have been fired. I say he should have been fired 4 years ago. Drew Aller, the quarterback, is now out. Right? So you got a new quarterback, you got a new coach. I don't like the situation. You're rolling into Iowa City where a lot of stronger Big Ten teams have been whipped in the past, and I think Kirk Ferentz is going to get it done here. Lay the short price with the Hawkeyes.
Okay. Another college game here. How big of a letdown spot are you anticipating here for Texas after their big win against Oklahoma last week? Now they go on the road to take on Kentucky, and the Longhorns are laying as high as 13 right now on the screen, Matt.
Yeah, it's 13, so that was enough for me to take it. I talked about it last night. I said 12.5, no, but if it gets up to 13, I'll go ahead and take it, and I did. So I was on Texas in the under last week. I finally talked myself into that by Friday last week. And I just figured that John Mateer, coming back from that hand injury, the surgery, even if he played, he was not going to play that well. So the Longhorns caught the Sooners at exactly the right time. They got an injured quarterback who couldn't perform, and it was a defensive struggle. Texas did just enough to pull away to win that game. Arch Manning played okay. He wasn't great, but he played better. So I think the opinion of Texas might be a little bit inflated coming off that win. And when you're coming off your biggest win of the year against your rival, going on the road against a Mark Stoops defense, this is going to be a tricky spot. Remember what Mark Stoops has done to Lane Kiffin's offenses in the past. And I know Stoops is a lame duck coach right now, but Kentucky's off a bye and is going to be dangerous as a home dog here. I'm going to take the 13. I think if the Longhorns win this, you're going to have to sweat it out.
Follow the Money, Paulie and Mitch Veasan, the Sports Betting Network. Matt Human's our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. I'm with you on Louisville, and I'm with you on this one. I like the Bengals tomorrow. Why are you taking the points?
Well, the Steelers, I'm seeing some of these, and I don't know if you guys have talked about this, the mainstream media, the Pro Football Talk, some of these places, they put out NFL power rankings every week.
Yeah.
And they're just clueless about how they do these power rankings. And the Steelers right now I've seen as high as number 3 or number 5 in the NFL. Give me a break, okay? This Steelers team is nowhere near that. I think the defense has played better the last couple of weeks, but it's more like the typical Mike Tomlin, doing it with smoke and mirrors and winning close games, beating the bad teams. If the Steelers just beat the bad teams on the schedule, they're going to win that division. And they got to find a way to beat the Bengals. But I think this is a spot where you're going to see Cincinnati doesn't have many spots left on the schedule where the players are really going to care about winning the game. But in a division game, when you're a home dog against the Steelers, you got guys like Jamar Chase. I heard him talking about this game a couple days ago. He's going to be up for this. Joe Flacco played better than I thought he would at Green Bay last week. I thought, a 40-year-old quarterback who can't move behind a bad offensive line is going to be a sitting duck for that Packers defensive line. He got sacked only one time. I think this is going to be a competitive game. The Steelers offense gives you no indications that they're the type of team that's going to blow out opponents here. It's probably a game that's decided by a field goal, so I'm taking the 5.5. This is one of the rare spots where we'll back the Bengals.
Yeah, Matt Human's our guest here. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Okay, so you and I typically, we're similar like this. I usually bet like on a lot of bad teams throughout the entire year in the NFL. Looking for some points. You do the same thing. State your case here for the Titans +7 at home against the Patriots.
Well, okay, it's not an easy case to state, but I think Brian Callahan was the worst coach in the NFL, and that goes back to last season, talking about the worst head coach. So Mike McCoy and the coaching change, I think, is going to, probably provide some energy and a boost for this team. And McCoy's a pretty good offensive coach. I think you'll see a better Cam Ward in this game this week. But for me, the entire key to this is that you got the coaching change for the Titans. And by the way, it's a Tennessee team that's more talented than people think. It has not showed up because of the coaching incompetence, and that's held this team back. I think the coaching change is going to work wonders, at least in a brief period for this team. And how about the negative situation the Patriots are in? Third straight road game. You had your biggest win in a long time at Buffalo. You go on the road to New Orleans last week and have to sweat it out against the Saints, and now go to Nashville. I looked up the spread record. I don't have it in front of me. I mentioned it on the show a couple nights ago, but it's about 15 games under 500. The last 10 years, teams playing the third of 3 consecutive road games are about 15 games under ATS. This is just a negative scheduling spot for the Patriots. I know it's Mike Vrabel's revenge game because he got fired there, but I can't deny the coaching change and the third straight road game. I got to take the 7 with Tennessee.
90 seconds. Tell us about the Friday football contest.
I got Chris the Bear Felica on Friday night. He's going to be calling in from Provo, where the Fox Big Noon Kickoff show is going to be on. And I was looking at the Westgate College Football Super Contest standings. How about the Bear? He's in the top 5.
Yeah.
He's having a hell of a season. Right now, he's in second place in the Friday Football Invitational, a half point back. So the Bear's right there in the hunt, so it's going to be good. His college opinions have been strong. I know a lot of sharp guys were wrong about Oregon last week, but that's about the only thing the Bear had wrong last week. I think he was right about almost everything else. Top 5 in that contest. I think I'm barely over 500 in the Westgate. I don't know about you guys. I'm 25 and 24, so not tearing it up. I am off my first 5-0 week in the NFL. So
nice.
Hopefully we can keep it going there. And who else do we have on Friday night? Scott Pritchard and the original Average Joe, Weston Stratman. So we got some guys really tearing it up at the top of the contest, doing well, and we got some others at the bottom not doing so well. I think Steve Fezzik is in last place right now.
Oh, wow.
Fezzik's gonna get the game.
Yeah. Well, Friday night's going to be a hell of a show. Good luck, Matt. We appreciate it.
All right, Matt, thanks.
Yeah, he also likes the Chargers and the Giants in the NFL this week. We'll get to our best bets with in-pocket plays next here on VSiN.